Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Time Added On. My name is Alfredo Fumaças.
And I'm Cristiano Oliveira.
And we're here to discuss 5 topics. We give 2 minutes per topic, the hottest topics in Benfica land, and we'll offer our opinion. First topic on the board is Ferro's renewal. Now, Ferro, another player from the Seixal that has made his debut on the A team and has had quite a performance at the Dragão this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's been absolutely lights out, as I mentioned on the Benfica podcast, and here's my plug to the Benfica podcast. I did not expect Ferro to be as good as he's been. I mean, this guy looks like he's the whole package. He's physical, he's fast, he can play with the ball at his feet. He's been everything I did not expect him to be. So hats off to him, hats off to Bruno Lage, hats off to the Benfica department, whomever the hell got the guy ready to play. But he's been an absolute monster.
Yeah, and look, we saw Lindelof came through the Seixal. We saw Ruben Dias come through the Seixal. And Ferro is the latest Seixal product. Again, like Cristiano mentioned, great feet. And is a guy that perhaps when you first see him, and we saw him at the B team level, that you're really not too impressed. But the fact that he's been able to came in against Sporting, now starts against Porto in an atmosphere that's not very favorable, and he's done quite well for himself.
I thought he was a shittier version of Jardel, to be brutally honest with you. But the guy's been absolutely lights out. The guy, he could play with the ball at his feet, as I mentioned before. He's very impressive in this week's Clásico at the Dragão, taking on the very physical and very in shape. Marega, he was able to stick with the guy, step for step, and it's been brilliant to see all these youngsters be injected into the starting lineup, but more so him. This was the youngest pairing of center backs at the Stadio Dragão were at the Andes since 1991. Don't ask me who the other tandem was, but I know that Ruben Dias and Ferro together been absolutely lights out.
So signs a renewal until 2023 with $100 million or euro clause.
Release clause.
Quite impressive.
Yeah, I mean, when I first read it, I said this might be a little bit too steep, but you know what? He's been absolutely lights out, as I mentioned here, about 12 times here so far in these first 2 minutes, and I'm very happy that he's tied up and he's going to be part of this club for the next 3 to 4 years, hopefully, before he makes a jump to a big shark. Now, Alfredo, moving on to the next topic, dirty tactics. Obviously, the Super Dragões, whomever it may be, was outside Benfica's hotel in the city of Porto with fireworks and trying to keep these players up as much as possible. Obviously, it did not work, as we saw. And then, obviously, when the bus was pulling into Estádio do Dragão, they were hit with rocks and bricks, as was the presidential car that Luis Pipiero was riding in. What are your thoughts on this? Obviously, any surprise? I mean, these are things we've seen over the last 50 years. So.
That's exactly right. Every time that Benfica travels to the Dragão, especially when things are close, an incident like this always happens. Whether it's lighters, whether it's golf balls, whether it's stones being thrown at the bus. Cristiano, I gotta wonder, right? At what point do Portuguese authorities, Portuguese police get involved in this, right? Because this is a rock that's thrown at the bus, right? If it misses the bus, there's an escort of both police and media bikes where they follow the bus on cameras. And this could have been a potentially dangerous situation.
It could have. But look, man, this is a very hard situation to take care of. This is a very hard situation to keep an eye on because Estádio do Dragão is in between a residential area. And so it's always going to be hard to keep everyone, under control because they could just pose as, people were going home or in front of their buildings, in front of their doors. And it's a very tough situation. Now, I understand the whole, they've been doing it at the Dragão for so many years and somehow the police still haven't found a way to control it. But as I mentioned, when you have a stadium in the middle of a residential area, it's hard to control, man. And so luckily, no one got injured. That's the most important thing. The bus got a couple of dents in it. The president's vehicle got a couple of dents in it. But no one was seriously injured, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, fireworks at 1:45 and then again at 7 a.m. And to me, that signaled that they estavam todos borrados. They were scared. But anyway, next topic, Samaris. Does he renew or does he not renew? What's the story? Because up until Bruno Lage brought him along, we weren't really sure whether or not Samaris deserved the renewal. But after seeing him in these past couple performances, he's making a strong case for a renewal from Benfica.
I mean, you asked me 14 games ago. It was a very simple no. Do not want him back. He's not caliber to be in the starting 11. And there's question marks whether, could even be a rotation player. But since Bruno Lage come in, he injected him into the starting lineup. And obviously, Feja being hurt opened up a spot for him. And he's been absolutely lights out. Phenomenal performance at the Dragão this weekend. The only reservation I have about him is, you have a Florentino Diaz who's ready to make the jump. By re-signing Samaris, is he going to block Florentino from getting those minutes, those all-important minutes that's going to take him to develop to the next level? That's my only reservation about this, and I don't want it to be another Salvio case where you sign this guy and then a year down the line, even though Salvio's just a couple months down the line, but a year down the line you regret re-signing him to a huge contract. So this is going to be a very tough decision. I know the fans are in love with Samaris. He's the ultimate team guy. I had the privilege of traveling with Benfica over the summer, and I tell you, there was nobody that was, loved more in that locker room than Samaris was. He was the guy that kept everyone together, to glue the link, to keep everyone together. And look, it's just the one question: is he going to block Florentino?
Yeah, and mind you, this was a guy that was very good in the JJ. And when Rui Vitória took over, basically the past 4 years have been a waste for his career. He is now seeing a rebirth of some sorts, if you will, in the Bruno Lage. And he's a guy that feels Benfica through and through. He's a guy that's taken time, has committed himself to learning Portuguese. He learned Portuguese quite quickly. So he's a guy that loves the club. He's also a leadership presence in the locker room, which Benfica needs after Luizão departing. Benfica needs that type of a personality. Next topic.
Whoa. You're doing my job now. I was going to say, sticking with players that had a hard time on the Rui Vitória, we're moving on to Rafa, a guy that seemed like he could not play at this level on the Rui Vitória now. He's been absolutely lights out, scoring his 13th goal, fourth consecutive game in the Campeonato, scoring a goal for Benfica. Was even named in the Gazeta dello Sport Team of the Week, I should say. That's how good of a performance he had at the Dragão. What do you think about his rejuvenation here on the Bruno Lage?
Look, 13 goals, the best mark of his career for a season. I think there's something that speaks volumes of the level of confidence that he's gotten to. He's still a guy that misses a lot of balls in front of the net, but he's a quick, explosive player that can make the difference. And Cristiano, you are saying right now, presently, that you feel that he's Benfica's most dangerous player.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a while. He's Benfica's most dangerous player, the guy that poses the most threat, the player on the pitch that throws other defenses off balance. He's been absolutely lights out because, again, as I keep repeating myself over and over and over, you cannot teach speed, and that's the one thing that the guy has in bundles is speed. Unfortunately, his finishing is not that good, but you know what? This weekend he was able to get one on net, and that's all that matters. The only important one to get the 3 points. He's been absolutely phenomenal. He's another one that Benfica and Luis Felipe are talking about tying up to a long extension to 2023. They want to extend this contract. And at this point, I don't see why not. He's been everything we all anticipated, we all expected from him. Unfortunately, it took him a couple of years to get into this type of rhythm at Benfica, whether it was Rui Vitória, the system, whatever the hell it was, the sun was in his eye. I don't know, but he was not the same player that he is under Bruno Lage. Even though, to his credit, he was scoring, and to Rui Vitória's credit, he started off the season very well, scoring some goals. Maybe it just took him a little while to get adapted to Benfica, to the city, to the grandeza of the club, but whatever it is, keep it up because he's been phenomenal.
Yeah, and his representatives has actually said that they've been approached by Benfica for a contract renewal, so we got to stay tuned. Last topic on the agenda, rotation in the B team. So under Vitória, we very rarely saw players go down to the B team to get rotation. Under Lage, there seems to be something that's planned out, right? So we saw Corsia in the B team getting some game rhythm. He then made his debut for the A team as a starter. We saw Svilar going down and also playing. We've seen the resurgence of Tarabt in the B team, and now this week we had Krovinovic under the B team.
I mean, look, I don't think this hurts the club or the players in any way. I think if anything's going to get these guys in game rhythm, going to get them in better shape because obviously practicing and playing an actual game is a different level of intensity. So I think this is only going to benefit the players, and I think it's a smart decision by whomever it may be. I just don't understand why the hell this wasn't done earlier or years ago because, as I mentioned 3 times in the first 30 seconds, this is only going to benefit the players and benefit the club.
Yeah.
So smart, brilliant. Keep it up. Anyone else that's in question, that's not 100%, send them down to the B team. They're playing against men, against professionals, and it's only going to get these guys ready and in better condition, in very better physical shape to take on the rigors of, playing along Benfica, Campeonato for Benfica.
Yeah, and look, this speaks volumes about the players trusting the Lage process, right? So if Lage says, go down to the B team, play a couple games, get your game rhythm, you're going to get your chance. Hey, you got to believe the guy. You got to trust the process, and you got to, you go out there. And I know some guys may thumb their nose at going down to the B team. I'm beyond that, so on and so forth. But they understand that this is going to better them, as Cristiano mentioned. So kudos to Lage and kudos to the B team, because the B team really serves the purpose of being there and preparing players for the next step. So they play in the same style as the A team to get the players ready. This is the last step before they can enter A team contention.
It's not a sexy move. It's not going to be as many pretty girls on the B team, watching in the stands. But you know what? It's better. It's beneficial for you as a player and better for the club. So I think this was absolutely the right decision by whomever made this decision. So hats off, and I applaud you.
Right, and that's all we got. That's all we got for this week's show. My name is Alfredo
Cristiano,
and we'll see you next week. Take care, everyone.
Peace.